For our next talk is Shri Guru Granth Sahib, a model of human harmony and global peace.
Thank you.
And the author is Dr. Jaspal Kaur Kaang. She is from Punjab University in India, and due to some unforeseen circumstances, she could not be here physically. But she has sent the talk, the slide, and before I request Dr. Jaspal Singh to come and present them, I just want to say a few words about Dr. Kaang. She has been working in Punjab University for the last 38 years, and she has translated the universal wisdom and ethical values represented in the lives and works of Sikh Gurus into the interdisciplinary pedagogical modules for the dissemination of value education through Punjabi language, literature and culture. Her objective has been to spread all over the world the eternal values symbolized by our great Gurus, which are more relevant in today's world. And now I will request Dr. Jaspal Singh ji to come and make the presentation on Dr. Jaspal Kaur Kaang's behalf. Dr. Jaspal Singh, I think he is a well-known personality, and he is a Vice President of Sikh Gurdwara Administrative Committee. And above all, he is my friend for more than 50 years.
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Before beginning the slide from Dr. Jaspal Kaur Kaang, I'd like to mention that all the proceedings of this conference will be available in video at the www.chardikala.com under the tab SST Conference 2017. So if you missed something, you will be able to access it later, and there will be also links on the website, and so we should be able to access all the information. Also, the conference proceedings will be published in the Nishan magazine, just like some of you got a copy today from the previous year's conference. I'm sure I cannot do really justice to somebody else's slides, but I'll try to do as much as I can. So there's a lot of text here which is available for you to read, and I'm going to co-read with you some of it. If you have any questions, my request will be you write them down and write your email address there. So I'll send it to her, and then she can respond to them more directly. I was expecting some youngsters here to pass the 15th or okay, we have some volunteers who will pass the cards for you to write questions on, and then we can, but please write your email address. Guru Granth Sahib is such a creative work of Indian medieval age that enshrines on one hand matchless elaboration of spirituality, and on the other hand revolutionary ideals of social welfare, multicultural distinctness, and eternal ethical code. Now, in this global village, there are lots of challenges that have come across. Number one, we are living in a multiracial, multicultural, multi-religion, multilingual, and multi-regional world. So this is a very, very challenging situation. We cannot take it lightly with all this, so many differences coming up in life. So these are real challenges that the humanity has to face as a part of becoming a global village. Now, these problems also that we have are related to the racial, regional, communal, gender, and cultural identity. And in this context, Guru Granth Sahib emerges as a unique text which presents a multi-layered and multi-dimensional assessment of the reality of human life. And I think Dr. Jaspal Singh has already elaborated a lot on these issues. Now, one of the things is the religious tolerance. The aim of religious tolerance is not to accept or adopt religious beliefs, doctrines, and activities of others, nor is it to transform these into those of one's own religion. The aim is only to give due respect to all the religious creeds and beliefs without distorting any of these in any manner, so that an environment of peace and understanding prevails in the society at both national and international levels. Now, role of Guru Granth Sahib in context of religious tolerance. The unique process of creation and editing of Guru Granth Sahib is based on religious tolerance. It comprises verses composed by 36 holy persons connected with varied provinces, states, religions, faiths, beliefs, and sects. They include 6 gurus, 15 bhagats, 11 bhatts, and 4 devotees of the Guru. Bhagats include Hindus as well as Muslims. Some of them belong to the high caste section, while some of them belong to the lower caste group, but their verses have been selected without any discrimination. Such a spirit of tolerance is also visible in case of language of the compositions. The very diction used in Guru Granth Sahib spring from multiple sources. Guru Granth Sahib in totality of the compilation promotes the concept of welfare of all, Sabata Pala and Sakal Jamati, which never attempts to humiliate any of the religions. The compositions included treat the whole world as a closely related entity and wishes for its welfare without any selfish motive, and prays for grant of bounties and happiness to all. Sarvata Pala. And Guru Sahib says, Jagat Chalanda Rakhla Apni Kirpa Thar Jit Duare Ubre Titte Lyo. I beseech you, O Almighty, be merciful and save the burning world in whatever way it can be saved. The cosmic vision of Guru Granth Sahib exhorts followers of all religions of the world to rise above the differences and conflicts, and it provides them with a common pattern for the welfare of whole mankind. Religious pluralism is a concept of global responsibility based on mutual relation of respect for differences, tolerance for others' views, and healthy exchange of ideas. Religious pluralism as presented through Guru Granth Sahib. Guru Granth Sahib is such a creative work through which different layers of religious pluralism could be identified. From the point of view of place and time, Guru Granth Sahib is an historical document which covers a period from 12th century to 17th century, incorporating a variety of geographical regions, occupations, languages, and communities, and include compositions of saints, bhagats, and Sufi faqirs. Besides the Sikhs, all of whom, though connected with different beliefs, sects, provinces, and doctrines, seems to be guiding the whole mankind in unison. This is the most appropriate illustration of religious pluralism. The greatest contribution of Guru Granth Sahib lies in visualizing ideal development of a human being and a society, and creating an atmosphere which teaches mankind, divided into sects by religious fanaticism and narrow political approach, how to live in mutual love and understanding. Unitary pluralism. Guru Granth Sahib as a whole represents unity of God, the Supreme Soul. These days, multidimensional expanse of culture, communities, and ideologies is being recognized, but it is an extension of Ek Onkar only. The very foundation of Guru Granth Sahib is given by the following couplet penned by Bhagat Kabir ji. Awwal Allah Noor Paya, Qudrat ke sab bande, Ek Noor pe sab jag puja, Kaun kare ko mande. No religion stands ignored or neglected in Guru Granth Sahib. It rather gives due recognition to the utility and identity of each of the different religions. Pluriform pluralism. Many forms of pluriform pluralism are present in Guru Granth Sahib. Koi bole Ram Ram, koi Khudaye, koi seve Gusaiya, koi Allah, Karan Karan Kareem, Kirpa Tar Rahim, koi Nave Tirath, koi Hajjaye, koi Kare Puja, koi Sir Nivaye, koi Pade Ved, koi Kadev, koi Ode Neel, koi Suped, koi Kahe Turk, koi Kahe Hindu, koi Bache Pise, soi Sulkindu. Kaun Nanak tin hukum pachata, Prabh Sahib ka tin pe jata. I want to read the translation. I think it is fairly simple Shabad and everyone knows it. There is ethical pluralism. Gurbani, the text of Guru Granth Sahib, aims at preaching human values among the whole of mankind through inculcation of virtues such as sweetness of words. Frida jinni kami nine gun te kamade visar. Sweetness, Guru Sahib says, Nanak fikka boliye, tanman fikka hoye. Humility, another virtue. Frita theo pavaita che sain lord is sab. Niman su akhar khaman gun jeba maniya man. Mitrat nimi nalka kunchin yato. These are all different shabads which give us the same message of being humility and as well as being sweet. Again, repeating the same quote, Frida jinni kami nai gun te kamre visar. The context of this is very wide, but also is that we should be doing productive work and not just unproductive work. Forbearance. Darveshanu rodiye rukha dijiro. So the knowledge is given to the patience that the trees have. Tolerance. Frita bureda palakar ussa man na handaye. Dehi rogna ragvei. You all know the Shabad. Through teachings of virtuous conduct, Guru Granth Sahib builds up a moral code which could serve as a solid and healthy foundation for bringing about excellence in individual and collective life of human beings. Interfaith dialogue. In fact, peace and harmony cannot be built up among various communities and nations until mutual understanding is established among different religions. And such an atmosphere of mutual understanding cannot be built up unless interfaith dialogue is established. In the contemporary times, interfaith dialogue has become a prime necessity at the international level, and persistent effort needs to be made for creation of such a dialogue. We should encourage the process of interaction, tolerance, learning, and teaching various faiths adopted by the others. Guru Granth Sahib arranges interfaith dialogue as an alternative to crusades in order to keep the whole of the mankind united and tension-free. The approach of mutual interaction, which is being preferred in the modern times, was adopted by several centuries ago, and they incorporated in their compositions through the dictum, "Jab lag duniya rahi hai, Nanak, kich suniye, kich kahiye." This is obviously dialogue is very, very listening and saying is very, very important. Guru Granth Sahib preaches expression of self before others and also lays stress on the need to lend ear to what others have to say. This approach would remove the ignorance and will spread purposeful knowledge among the masses. Interaction at a common platform brings all religions at par with one another and removes the fear of assimilation of one religion into any other one. Multicultural society. The cultural model presented in Guru Granth Sahib is not a fundamentalist religion of any particular community or caste group. It includes people who belong to different provinces, communities and religions, but are attuned to the same cosmic harmony. The ideals presented in Guru Granth Sahib appear as futuristic dialogue which does not admit any discrimination or animosity. The model of multicultural society as presented by Guru Granth Sahib is not one-dimensional, but it is multidimensional, one based as it is on welfare of all doctrine, which extends same respect to strangers as it extended to those who are closely related. Gurbani verses included in Guru Granth Sahib include a number of couplets which express deep reverence to the people belonging to the so-called lower castes. नीचा अंदर नीच डाल नीची हूँ अधनीच नानक तिनके संसार वड्या स्यों क्या रीस जिथे नीच समालियां तिथे नदर तेरी बख्शीस. Nanak says that he is in tune with the lowest of the lowly and he prefers their company in comparison to the highly blessed people, because one earns the grace of Almighty by giving care to the underprivileged. The main message of Gurbani is to recognize the identity and dignity of each culture on equal basis and to contribute towards establishing it in effective and meaningful manner. Gurbani discourages animosity, discrimination and violence and promotes communal tolerance, racial harmony and intercultural society. These being important ingredients of multicultural society, Granth teaches us to recognize and respect the values cherished by the others. Next we move from culture to the moral values. Gurbani aims at developing spiritually prosperous, mentally poised and morally sound human beings and therefore warns against the evil action through exhaustion such as man jeete jagjeet. Having control over one's mind is like having the control of the whole world. Some of the quotations are man maidan kar, which means one must erase one's ego. Bure za pala kar, one should be even to the evildoer. Hyao na kahe thao, one should not injure anyone's feeling. Nanak fikra boliye, tan man fikra hoye. Nanak says, if we speak rough, we invite mental as well as physical ailments. Kale likhan lik, we should neither inculcate nor express evil thoughts. Such pieces of advice contribute a lot towards development of sound moral character. The technique of making one's conduct simple and straightforward through a disciplined mind is one of distinct and special aspects of the mind. Qualities of ignoring pitfalls on the part of others and being soft-spoken and sweet in speech constitute the foundation of art of living. Utterances replete with sweetness and humility go to build up a congenial and pleasant environment. Gurbani is gently habit of vilification and opposes the slanderers because such people badly pollute the social and cultural environment. Laying stress on inculcation of virtues of humility and courtesy, Gurbani clarifies that when ego vanishes, as soon as these virtues are imbibed. Once the barrier of ego is removed, feeling of hatred, backbiting, jealousy, slander, and anger disappear automatically. No doubt, the model of morality presented through Gurbani imparts the qualities of patience, contentment, and continence in human beings, and teaches them how to have self-control and self-discipline, which help in freeing oneself from clutches of evil deeds. The principles of morality endow a human being with mental alertness and building up awareness in him imparts to them qualities of firmness, boldness, and creativity so essential for entering a new life. The moral code presented by Guru Granth Sahib form a healthy ingredient of Indian philosophy tradition. It tends to recognize the significance of spiritual as well as practical aspects of ethical values. In conclusion, today when the whole world looks to have fallen prey to selfishness, disorder, and tension-ridden atmosphere born out of mutual differences, and seems to be standing on a pile of dynamite, being face to face with terror and barbarity, it is essential to disseminate and adopt the message of universal brotherhood imparted by Guru Granth Sahib. The practicability of message of religious tolerance, awareness of religious pluralism, and model of interfaith dialogue as contained in Guru Granth Sahib stir up the human consciousness because this message possesses the potential of establishing an international fraternity or multicultural system. Such an effort in form of virtuous conduct can certainly unite the whole world as one family by strengthening human brotherhood, mutual understanding, and it can also serve as a medium for solution of world level problems. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. If you have any questions, please raise your hands and we will come and collect them.
Our email number? Our email, you can. Our email.
Oh, can you write your email on the card, then we will send it to her.
Okay.
Okay?
Question and the email. Thank you very much, Gurinder ji, for representing Dr. Kaang.